Hello people and welcome back to another video. In this video I want to talk about my workflow when it comes to post-production and the things that I'm doing after a shoot. But before I'm gonna start this video, I just want to say that this is my workflow and this doesn't mean that you need to do the same things that I'm doing, and maybe some of the things that I'm doing they're not gonna work for you, but maybe some of the things that I'm doing they're gonna work for you, and maybe at the end of this video, after the steps or the tips that I'm gonna share with you, maybe you're gonna use some of them in the future in your workflow. Now we're gonna start with step number one. So we're gonna start with step number one, and that's dumping footage. This is the first thing that you need to do when you're coming back home from a shoot. Now, if you live with your wife or your girlfriend, maybe it's better to like kiss your wife or your girlfriend and pet your dog or cat. But just make sure that the very next thing that you're gonna do, you're gonna dump that footage, because you don't want to have like nasty surprises. Now let me give you an example about those nasty surprises. Once I lost like 6 years out of my life after my hard drive, my external hard drive, took a little bump and everything was down the drain. And second was a faulty SD card. I think it was 128 gigs and I had a lot of things on that thing and I forgot to back it up and I lost everything that I had on it. So just make sure that you're gonna back your things up. Now when you're dumping footage or you're backing things up, just make sure that you're gonna like spread the gold in 2-3 places, because you want to have a copy of that thing in 2 or 3 places before you're gonna do something with that footage. So if you have a NAS, you should have a copy on your NAS. If you don't have a NAS and you have like an external hard drive, you should have a copy on your external hard drive, you should have a copy in your laptop, and you should have a copy maybe on your SSD if you're editing on an SSD. I'm really lucky that my laptop has an SSD already, so I don't need to have that copy on an SSD as well. So 2 or 3 places they're gonna be enough, because you don't want to have any kind of those nasty surprises that I was talking about in the beginning of this like first step. Second step is about being organized. So now after you dump that footage, you want to have everything in front of your eyes. So the first thing that I'm doing like a folder, and then in this folder I'm doing a lot of other folders you're gonna see in a second with the stuff that I did in that day. For example, one folder is gonna be for raw photos. I can write right now, I don't know why. Next is gonna be for raw selects. Third is gonna be with the video footage, for example, if you had any kind of video footage in that day. And now if you want to be even more organized, you're gonna do folders for the equipment that you shot with. So let's say you use like, I don't know, your drone, and that's Mavic Air, for example. This is my drone, maybe you have another one. You used, I don't know, I used my Sony a7 III. I use my GoPro maybe. Okay. And I used my G7X Mark II for vlogging. And now the next thing that you need to do, you need to go into that place where you dump the footage, and now you need to copy all that data into these folders. So you're gonna have everything nice and neat in front of your eyes. And now for step number 3, let's say you had only photos from that shoot. So the next thing that you're gonna do, you're gonna import them into Lightroom. At least this is what I'm doing. And now for the demonstration purposes of this thing, I just imported these 3 photos from my last shoot. So you're gonna see what I'm doing right now. Now I'm not gonna lie, when I'm having personal projects, I'm getting away with only using one of my presets and then I'm like tweaking it for my style. But when I'm having client projects, then I'm editing every single photo individually. So for example here, like I said, this is my last shoot and this is a personal project. So here for example I can apply one of my presets. We'll see which one like looks better. I don't know which one. Maybe I'm gonna do it like black and white, for example. So the first thing that I'm doing, I just like applying the preset. Let's say we're gonna do it black and white. The next thing that I'm doing, I'm using the basic adjustments like straightening the photo. Let's see how it looks. I don't really like how it looks, so I'm just gonna leave it like that. Let's say we're gonna use the 4:5 ratio for Instagram. Here we go. And really important, apply the lens correction for the lens that you used for that shoot. So this one is mine over here. And the next thing, I'm doing this sharpening thing to have like a clean canvas before I'm gonna start like messing around with other sliders. There we go. Next thing on the list is the editing and like making the photo visually pleasing for me. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. This is the preset right here. So It needs a little bit of tweaking. The highlights are a little bit too powerful, so we're just gonna dim them down a little bit. Because this one is a black and white photo, I'm just making sure that I like the ratio between the black and white and how it's looking. And after I'm finishing with this, I'm going right here into the effects, and I like to add a little bit of grain to my photos, so that's what I'm doing right now. And if I really like, I'm adding a little bit of vignetting as well to make it a little bit more dramatic. And let's say if I don't like the overall look of the photo, maybe I'm gonna bump up the exposure a little bit to bring back a little bit of detail from those shadows. And now I really like how this one is looking. When I have a lot of photos from the same location with the same outfit and stuff like that, of course not all of them they're gonna be black and white, and most of them they're gonna be in color as well. But I'm not gonna show you the editing process of that thing, because maybe it's gonna be like a 2-hour long video, stuff like that, just for one photo, so I'm not gonna do that. But what I'm trying to say is that if you have like the same location and the same clothing and the same colors and stuff like that, maybe you can like copy the settings that you did for one photo and then you're gonna copy them on the second one. But when you don't have this luxury, to call it like that, just make sure that you're gonna edit every single photo individually, especially when it's a client project. Next step number 5, that's the export. When I'm exporting stuff, I want to have like the full quality of that thing. So over here where this like slider is, I'm leaving it to 100 all the time, and I'm including all the metadata in the photo. And on the left side over here, I have 2 Instagram presets for exporting, one at 70% and one at 95%. And if you're asking why I'm having this preset right here, is because sometimes Instagram is punching that quality right in the face after you're posting a photo, so that's why. All in all, this is pretty much it that I'm doing for the exports. And before I'm hitting that export button, I'm just like choosing the folder that I did in the beginning of this video, because like I said, I like to have everything like nice and organized. And for example, let's say I have the exports over here and I'm exporting this photo into that folder. And last thing on the list, step number 6, and I don't know if this is like a part of the workflow, but I'm just gonna say it anyway, because I'm shooting for a lot of small brands. After I'm sending them the final product, the final footage, the final whatever you want to call it, I like to keep like the raw photos, if that was a photo shoot, or the raw video if that was a video shoot, because sometimes down the line the social media managers of that business, or even the owner of that business, they want to like recycle some of that footage, and they want to have like the full data to like edit it in a different way. So there you have it. That's the step number 6. That's the step number 6. So that's it, people. This is the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're still watching, you're the real OG. Hit the notification bell so you're not gonna miss any of my future videos. Tell me in the comments down below if you liked like my workflow, and if you're gonna like steal one of my tips and you're gonna use it in your workflow. And I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Peace.